The tradition of homecoming has its origin in alumni football games held at colleges and universities since the 19th century. Many schools, including Baylor, Southwestern, Illinois, and Missouri, have made claims that they held the first modern homecoming. Traditionally, homecoming centers a parade, dance, homecoming court, class competitions, and most importantly, football.
What were some of the celebrations you did for homecoming?
Oh, we always had on Thursday night a serpentine, and everybody got together down at the south end of Mount Vernon, and you held hands and ran clear through the town and up the viaduct and clear up to this area. I can't remember right now where we would have had the bonfire that would have been safe, but they had a huge bonfire, and everything was, of course, if we were lucky enough to be playing Burlington at homecoming, there was a great amount of cheering and yelling and merrymaking.
Lots of gathered around. Of course, it was usually a cold night, sometimes windy, sometimes rainy. So it was enjoyed for years, and we enjoyed watching it being built. You know, just all kinds of wooden junk was put on there until it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was fun. It was very fun.
The bonfires were the best. That was really a lot of fun. That in the parking lot, which was not paved, and there were no places for you, just parked wherever you showed up. And
the lead up to the game was very exciting. Friday night, we used to have a bonfire, a big bonfire where we would bring things to burn, and then everybody would gather around with their cheerleaders and sing songs. And it was a regular pep rally, but we used to have a bonfire. I'm not too sure exactly when that bonfire stopped.
Homecoming floats in a grand parade used to be a big part of our annual traditions. One alumnus was able to give us an answer to why this tradition ended back in the 80s. While the parade made a brief comeback about a decade later, sadly this tradition is no longer a part of our current activities.
I had the pleasure of being one of the last class members to be able to house a float here at Mount Vernon High School. So my freshman year, it was very common for the senior class to pick on the freshman class and destroy their floats, and we had a group of individuals that were determined not to have that happen. So originally the float got put at a local dairy farm, and it wasn't a very secure facility, and so as the seniors were narrowing down and targeting that farm, the class got together and decided to move it over to my parents' farm where there was a locked shop. And those seniors were very persistent, and the Thursday night before the floats were to be shown, they came over to the shop. They were banging on the doors, and they wanted for us to let them in. And so I distinctly remember calling my parents on the phone and telling them that these kids were out to get our float, and my dad comes out with a loaded pistol, firing it in the air. Seniors scatter, and word makes it back to the school and the school board about that incident, and that was kind of the end of floats at Mount Vernon High School.
We had very few kids that did not participate in homecoming. I mean, when there were dress-up days or class things that each class had to do or whatever it was, there was all kinds of support. Like when we were getting ready for the parade, I don't even know if they still do it or not, but we used to go through downtown Mount Vernon and back up the hill. I think we went down Lincoln Hill over there and then went through town or something. We did a little bit of a loop somewhere around and through there. That was outstanding, and everybody's class was competing, and there were very few, if any, kids in the classes that didn't want to be a part of it, and couldn't be. That everybody was involved. So.
Though many traditions are no longer practiced, two foundational events have always been at the core of every homecoming since the beginning: football and the big dance.
And when we were freshmen, that was the last year, I think it was, that you had to be invited by someone to go to the dance after homecoming. And I can remember going to the homecoming game with curlers in my hair because you had to make a mad dash to get cleaned up and whatnot after the game to get to the dance on time.
So our homecoming back then was different than it is now. I believe it's still the same. Ours was more of a casual dance. I think it was in the library, and people just came after the game. It wasn't a dress-up, spend hundreds of dollars affair.
But homecoming was probably mostly about the football, which was guys, and the dresses, which was girls. So the big thing is, did you have a dress for the homecoming, and do you have a date for the homecoming? And if you had those two things, it was pretty much a girl thing. Dragging the guys, 17-year-olds, are they excited to dress up, go to football?
My best friend and I, we went with one guy, the two of us went together. With my boyfriend, actually, at the time. So, but that was a fun one.
And they looked adorable.
We had matching
They had the
dresses, just
same
different colors.
dresses, just different colors. And they went to a restaurant in Seattle, and some gentleman came up to Josh and said, "My, you're quite the player."
Boosted his ego a little.
It's exciting. Yeah, it still had, or I don't know, maybe it does today still, but everybody looked forward to it.
Build floats,
Yeah,
competitions.
floats, the whole thing, the
Yep,
game, the football
parade.
game, it all sort of builds up to that final day. I think it was the Friday night dance at that time. I don't know if they still do that or not. But
That was after the
it
game.
was a big deal. It was a good social. I don't remember dressing up particularly
No, we didn't for
fancy or going
homecoming.
out to dinner.
No, that was prom.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, homecoming was after the game.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this dose of nostalgia and the walk down memory lane with our alumni. If you would like to be a part of future features highlighting our rich Bulldog history, please contact us via our MVHS TV Facebook page. Go Bulldogs!